What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about the average height for D1 football players based on position. So we're going to go through position group by position group, talk about the average heights, what they're wanting to see at the next level. But if you're undersized, not to worry, we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do to improve your game or to maybe help you stand out if you are, in fact, undersized. So first position group we're going to be going over is the quarterback position, you guys. So I would say to be able to play at the Division I level, they're looking for quarterbacks who are at least 6 foot and above. And honestly, if you're 6 foot, 6'1", you're kind of deemed on the shorter side of things, but I would say to kind of pass the eye test, you have to be around 6 foot. Now, again, I'm not 6 foot. I played quarterback. Granted, I didn't play at the Division I level, but I did play at the collegiate level. And what are some of the things that maybe help me stand out to college coaches? And that was number one, extend playability. I think if you're a short guy, you got to play the game differently. You're not going to be a pocket passer. And I'm not saying you need to be Lamar Jackson either. I'm just saying you need to be able to buy some time and throw off platform. You need to be able to throw on the run. You need a quick release too as well. We'll get into that in a second, but being able to extend the play is one of your biggest assets and what you should show on film. 2, quick release, like I mentioned. Can you beat the defensive line? Because again, as a shorter quarterback, defensive line is going to come up, hit the ball. It's just generally how it goes. So having a quick release can help you stand out. The number 3, you guys, I would say is toughness. Being able, if you can showcase, because the big knock on shorter dudes, they're not able to see, which we can debunk by just having great feet in the pocket, being able to throw on the run, etc. But the other knock is like you're small, and if you get hit, you're gonna like die, right? Like, so honestly, if you can show that you could take hits, you stand in the pocket and you could throw and have a dude just pop you and you get up and you complete the pass and then you're moving the ball, like that makes you really stand out. That was one of the things that every single college coach I spoke to said that I did really well, is because I didn't care, man. I would sit in the pocket, I'd throw, and I'd take a freaking shot to the freaking jaw, get up the next play, and I would complete the pass, and then we move the drive and we move the chains. Like, that's something that they look for, because those are questions that you have to answer if you are undersized. Now, fellas, before we get into the rest of these position groups, if you were a quarterback or wide receiver watching this video, we're going to be hosting a series of 7 more QB and wide receiver training camps all across the entire country this offseason, fellas. Next up on our camp tour, we're going to be coming out to Newark, New Jersey. Then we'll be heading out to Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts, Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California, fellas. So, guys, want some more information? You want to sign up for our camp? Go to our very first link in the description below. We'd love to have you out. All of those camps we listed have available spots, but we only have about 3 spots remaining in each one of these camps, and they will sell out extremely soon. So guys, make sure you take advantage of us having available spots. Go to that very first link in the description below. Our camps sell out because we limit spots and we want to work with each athlete individually. We can't do that if we have 1 million people there. So we limit the spots just so you guys can get great quality work. So again, very first link in that description below, fellas. We'd love to have you there. Now, let's talk about receivers and DBs. So I think there's an exception to this rule because there are slot receivers, and those guys are generally on the shorter side of things, but I'd probably say 5'11" is generally average when you combine outside and slot. I think on the outside, if you're like maybe like 6'2", 6'3", that's generally a Division I level outside receiver. Out of the slot, 5'10", 5'11" is probably a Division I level wide receiver. But here's the thing, guys, if you're undersized as a receiver or a DB, the first thing you gotta have is you gotta have speed. I think at the DB position, probably 5'11" or above is probably average, but you gotta have speed and you gotta have quickness. I get a lot of times receivers who will ask me like, hey coach, I'm short and slow, can I go D1? It's like, probably not. You know what I mean? Like, and I hate to say that because I don't want to tell anybody what they can and can't do. That's not my position. My position is to give you guys information and try to educate you guys the best I can. But like, if you're like, there are plenty of guys who are short and fast. Like, and there are plenty of guys who are tall and fast. So if you're on the undersized side of things, speed training needs to be your #1 priority. Now, what else? Got to be able to catch the ball. Like, if you're undersized and I can't rely on you to catch the ball over the middle, like, give me a reason to put you on the field. There are none, right? So got to have good hands, got to have good speed, and you got to have good football knowledge. If you're undersized and you're playing out of the slot, you got to know how to run routes, avoid linebackers, avoid safeties, and be able to get open for your QB. So if you could do those 3 things, that would help you stand out from the receiver side of things. Now, DB, like we mentioned, speed, great technique. I think one of the things that is lost at the DB position nowadays, because there's not many people want to be DBs. The only time you get noticed is if you get burned. Everybody wants to be a receiver and catch touchdowns, so I get it. But if you have great technique as a DB, great press coverage, great zone, great off man, you are going to stand out. So if you're undersized, you need speed and technique at the DB position, undersized at the receiver position, speed, great hands, and football IQ. So let's talk about running back. So I would say probably 5'10" is the size of a Division I level running back. Now, obviously, you got to have some weight as a running back. I think that's, around the same size as a wide receiver. I think receivers are on the shorter side, or thinner side of things, excuse me, where they're maybe about 175, 180 pounds. I feel like running backs are maybe 190, 195, but they're both very lean. You know what I'm saying, you guys? And they obviously have to have speed. So if you're undersized as a running back, I think you need to be on the thicker side of things. I think you need to have some muscle mass, need to have some size, because running backs, here's the thing, guys, the big worry is if you're undersized, you're getting hit on every play. You're carrying the ball, unless you go untouched for a touchdown, when the ball is in your hands, you are getting tackled. Are you going to be able to withstand those hits? So that's why running backs are generally on the thicker side of things. So you need to have some weight on you if you want to play running back. Now, putting weight on, lifting in the gyms right, eating a lot of calories, but also protein consumption is important. So if you guys would like a good protein powder that could help you gain weight, I actually own a supplement company with my brother, and we made a protein powder specifically for athletes to gain weight. So if you guys want that, post in the comment section below, and I'll send you a link over to that, no problem. But I would say putting on size, lateral change of direction, being quick in and out of cuts is super, super important. And then I would also be able to say, be an asset with your routes. Guys, if you could run great routes as a running back, that makes you a very, very big asset, especially in an air raid type system. Now let's talk about linebackers. I would say at the Division I level, they're looking for a linebacker who's about 6'2". And I'm just trying to be honest with you guys. I know that's a big size linebacker, but especially where I live in Southern California, you see some of these dudes who are getting recruited, some of these high level guys, they're freaks of nature, man. So I would say around 6'2", over 200 pounds is generally what they're looking for at the linebacker position. What if you're undersized? I think you can make up for it with great lateral change of direction. That's something you could work on. And obviously tackling, fellas. If you can tackle well, especially playing a sport like maybe rugby in the offseason, learning how to tackle properly if you're on the undersized side of things, I think you could still stand out in that sense. But linebacker is one of those very big, eye test type positions, a lot like linemen. We're going to talk about linemen in a sec. But I would say 6'2". If you're not 6'2", working on your tackling skills and your lateral change of direction and also your speed is an easy way that you can stand out. So now let's talk about tight end. So tight end is a position that I really hate talking about in this topic of discussion, just because, Division I level tight ends, guys, are freaks. The best athletes on the field. They're 240 pounds and they're 6'5", and they could run a 4.7 40. It's insane. I would say probably 6'3" is generally what they're looking for at the tight end position. Now, I know a lot of you watching this maybe aren't 6'3", maybe you will be 6'3". Hey, great, no problem. I just want to say at the Division I level, that's what they're looking for. Now, if you're not quite 6'3", maybe you're 6 foot or 6'1", whatever, I think you may have a better shot playing receiver if you thin out, and you can work on your speed. But if you are a heavier guy and you're dead set on playing tight end, I would probably say working on your run blocking is important, because that's going to be a question that you need to answer if you're undersized. 2, being able to run routes, and 3, being able to catch. Because if you're an undersized tight end, you're probably, if they like you, you're going to probably have to be an asset in the receiving game, more so the blocking scheme, because you're undersized. So I would say route running and hands is important. Obviously your speed's also important, but if you're a bigger dude and maybe you feel like you could help out in the run game, pass pro, putting on some size obviously helps, but working on your pass blocking, your run blocking, that will also highly benefit you and make you able to stand out if you're an undersized tight end. Now let's talk about the linemen. So I stay away from talking about linemen a lot because obviously I don't look like a lineman, but I would say probably around 6'2", 6'3" is what they're looking for an offensive lineman, a defensive lineman at the Division I level. I was talking with a guy who helped out with a camp of ours. He was coaching the running backs and he played at Oklahoma when Trent Williams was there. And just talk about just size and just a freak of nature. You know what I mean? That's what you're up against at the Division I level, guys. It's a different animal. You see any type of college level football player that played linebacker, safety, O-line, D-line, big humans, right? So I would say that's probably generally what they're looking for. If you're undersized on the defensive line side of things, great technique and speed obviously helps. And then O-lineman undersized, I would say technique is obviously the most important thing. If you could focus on those aspects, I really see a benefit. I really do. I think you could stand out if you have the great technique and speed on the defensive side of things if you are undersized. But guys, it's at the end of the day, it's not the end of the world if you're undersized. Being undersized, you just have to do the little things better than the big guy. You have to make sure that there is no shadow of a doubt that you are not the best player on the field. And again, I'm not here to tell you you can and can't do anything. But if you are undersized, the deck is stacked against you. The odds are against you. But if you can show that you can flat out play, you can flat out play at the end of the day, and that's what really matters, because we're playing football. This is not a bodybuilding competition. This is not basketball. Your height isn't the most important thing, but it definitely freaking helps, and it definitely helps with recruiting. But if just leave no doubt. Leave no doubt that you're the best guy on the field, and at the end of the day, I feel that's going to pay off.